Hi, web developers. I'm going to try to be quick about this. Let's jump on down to the Kirby CMS section. Number one, please make sure that you understand these concepts. These are very evergreen concepts when it comes to CMSs. So the video that you're going to be the 6 videos that I found on LinkedIn Learning are going to help you get started with this. It might look old, but the content is really evergreen. And types of CMSs and just core things that we need to learn. And so just by knowing these things, you have a better understanding of what a CMS is and why one is necessary. So start there with these evergreen concepts. If you want to, you can reference the entire video. I'm not asking you to watch the entire video, but just know that it's there. Just know that there's a whole lot to this. Okay, so watch these 6 videos. Then we're going to understand what Kirby is. So once we have those concepts, you can see how Kirby applies those concepts, and how Kirby applies those concepts is what makes it unique. We've already tried the Kirby demo, but there it is right here. So we ran the Kirby demo on the Kirby website. And what we want to do now is run it locally on our computer. And to do that, we're going to set up the tech stack. So you're going to install VS Code locally. Again, every time we run a code space, we're running VS Code inside of the GitHub website. And so we're not going to do code spaces. We're going to run VS Code itself on our local computers. We're also going to install Herd. So Laravel Herd is a package. It bundles up all the stuff that we need. And this is part of our tech stack. So the tech stack we're going to be using is a very popular one. So let me go ahead and bring up Gemini here. And tech stacks like LAMP, and essentially we're running Linux, which is Nginx, Apache behind the scenes, MAMP is MySQL, and Apache runs on Nginx right here, and then PHP is the P, and so there's the LAMP, and what you're seeing right here is there's a whole bunch of tech stacks like this. So we got LAMP, WAMP, MAMP, LAP. Here, more. And then when we get in the JavaScript world, we have even more. We have Mern, Merv. There's Mern right there. Mean, Mevin, Mern. The Jamstack is my favorite one. This is one of my favorites. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is there's a lot of tech stacks. And whenever you go work, they're going to be a good question to ask is, what is your tech stack? And it's basically how the technologies people want to use and how those technologies can be used together. So we're not learning a specific stack, right? We're understanding how to learn any stack, right? And Herd just packages it all that up for us. All right. So whether you're on Windows or Linux, you can go ahead and download and install. On my uninstalled Herd, I'm going to install it now. Where did it go? There you can see it downloading. Okay. So while I'm going to pause the video and install the stuff I need to. All right, I'm going to repause the video and probably show you how to, if you're unfamiliar, so I'm going to do this on the Mac, but if you're familiar for installing software, you're good to go. And just install it to your local computer here. See if it asks me for my password. All right, there it is. It's installed. And then you want to take note of where it installed. And once you have that, you can launch it. So we're going to go ahead and launch Herd. Yes, to install this thing, continue, and lots of stuff. All right, I'm going to pause this. All right, sorry about that. I had trouble entering my password. All right, we're going to use the default folder, which is basically your home folder. And then you're going to go ahead, but you can set it basically anywhere you like. You can browse and put it on your desktop. You can put it in your documents folder. But I'm just going to use the default, which is my root. And it's going to install, in this case, right now, PHP and all the other stuff that we need to run it. All right. Yeah, we can skip this for now. Okay. All right. We don't need the pro plan, so we can skip that for now too. And now we can just go. Let's go. Ooh, these are new. Tinkerwell. What is that? All right. I'm not gonna get distracted. Let's get started. Great. Once we have this, we have herd running. All right. We can we can close up the site, but this is basically just instructions if you get tripped up and how to resolve it for either Mac or Windows. And then we have VS Code running. Check. All right. All right. Now all we need to do is go to Kirby, and they're going to provide us this handy dandy link. And I gave you a direct link. So from the local setup, we're going to click on Quick Start. And for right now, we're going to run the starter kit, which is a full-blown website with all this content. Eventually, we're going to install Plain Kit, which just has the sample, a blank starter. But we don't need the blank starter right now. We're just going to do the starter kit. All right. And we don't want to do the manual installation. We want herd. We're going to install with herd. Okay. All right. But what I want you to know is there's other ways to install stuff. So we can actually download it from Git if we wanted to. We can use the command line but for right now, we're going to use this easy one-click install. And this is why people like herd, because it installed all the stuff for us. So let's go ahead and click on Install Starter Kit with herd. And it'll launch and do its thing. And there it goes. Okay. All right, they're always trying to upsell you on their website. So I'm going to close that up. All right, and we'll give our project a name. We can call this thing Starter Kit. You'll notice it'll give us a URL there called starterkit.test, and it's going to put it into our root. And this is where it's getting the code from. And we don't need to worry about initializing a Git repository because we're not pushing this to the cloud. We're just going to try this out on our local machines. That's our first step before we start pushing anything to GitHub. All right, next. It's going to create your project. And now we awkwardly pause while that installs, and then we're going to open in browser. All right, there it is. All right, again, you can reference how to install Kirby if you ever get tripped up. Okay, this is their explanation of it. All right, so this is the front end and the front end of this. All right, so first let's look at the files, and then we're going to get into the panel, and then we should be good to go for today. All right, so I'm done with the download folder. Inside it, there is the folder I called Starter Kit. And this is the Kirby folder breakdown. So let's take a look at it. I don't know what happens if I zoom in. Does yours zoom in? I don't know. All right, let's go. First off, the assets folder. This is the stuff that's going to make our templates. That's what we need to know. Note how there it's using JSON. Okay, so we're just getting a lay of the land, as they say. We're just trying to understand what all this stuff is. All right, basically that is our JSON file. That is the recipe for this project right now. You can see all the software it installed for us. So thank you for that. All right, and that's the lock file. All right, inside of this is the content folder. And the content folder is all the stuff that's going to show up on the site. All right, so probably an easier way to deal with this here, rather than simply just going through it in the Finder, is to, right, so I think you see where I'm going with this here, is that yes, we can work out of here, but that's not why we have VS Code installed. So we're going to take our starter kit folder, and we're simply going to drag it to VS Code. There it is. Right, much better. So now we're using VS Code. Close up the other window here. And let's do this again. All right, so there is the assets folder, right, where all the stuff that we need for our templates, okay, icons, JavaScript. And then the content folder is where all the content actually sits. Notice it's numbered 1, 2, and 3. You can change this numbering. I'll show you that later. There's a page for errors, and there's the actual home page itself. And if we click on home.txt, we can see this title of home, right? And I want you to put, your name in front of it. All right. Well, let's not make that change just yet. We'll get there. All right. So I got home.txt open. So that's the content folder. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. The Kirby folder is where the Kirby system is. We're not going to touch this folder unless we have to update Kirby, which is infrequent. But just know that's where the software is. The media is where things get optimized. So when you upload a file, it's going to go ahead and create the necessary assets for there. So it's the nice thing about the media folder. So it handles all your media for you. All right. So we took care of assets, Kirby, and the media. Okay. Inside of media, right, you'll have pages and photography. All right. The site folder. We're going to be spending time in here. This is where we're going to be making our custom templates. And this is where we're going to take a look at blueprints. And we're going to use our snippets. And yeah, that's basically it for the stuff that we need inside of the site folder. All right. You don't have to worry about the vendor photo too much right now. But this is all additional plugins and things that help Kirby run. Okay, and of course there is our JSON file. Yeah, and you'll notice that our root file is this index.php, and we'll come back to what PHP is, but just note that it's an index file, just like we have index.html, we have index.js. Your index can be any type of file format. In this case, it's the PHP file, where we've been used to index.html and index.js. All right, I'm going to close that up. So these are all of our files. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the front end. So this is the front end. And what we want to do here is, if we take a look at this, right, we can kind of poke around in here. And this is all well and good. It's a nice demo for us to get started with. And there's that image that we just saw. So it's neat. It's all here. And this is the ordering right here that I was talking about. So 1, 2, and 3. So now let's come back into here, and what happens if I change this, right? So right click, rename, or I can just hit return, and I change this to 2, and I made photography 2, and I made the about, right, 1. Watch what happens to the navigation. I need to make notes 3, huh? Right, great. All right, so I just reordered this. Watch what happens to the navigation. That refresh. Isn't that neat? So not only is it going to change I'm really getting ahead of myself here. I wasn't planning on talking about this today, but you can see how all of our changes are reflected here. So that's really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna leave those the way there is, but it's not, again, right? It's because it's managing content. We don't have to worry about changing these links. It's going to reorder it for us. All right, the other thing here is I have the content folder open, and I'm looking at site. Oh, sorry, did I do site.txt? I had home open for a minute. All right, so on the home page, sorry, content, home.txt, and let's change the title to Colin's Home. And watch what happens, right? We refresh. Notice that the title changed to Colin's Home. And everything is being read, right, in these plain text files, which is just awesome. So now if we open up site.txt, right, instead of saying magazine, we can do Colin's magazine. I don't know how to pronounce AE there, but I think you get it. We can refresh this, and look at that. That's changed. All right, so you can see how these little things begin to just add up quickly. Okay. All right, so let's find the panel now. So this is the front end. I'm gonna open up another tab here. And maybe we can, if there's enough room here on my screen. So the domain, right, /panel. And you're gonna go ahead and get registered. So, okay, so we're basically registering ourselves. So I'm gonna make my simple password here. And we'll be able to fix all that later. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't have enough characters. I need at least 8. Okay. How about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? I don't think it's gonna like that. We'll see. There you go. Hey, let me in. All right. Don't make your password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll be able to change all these passwords later. Okay, So now that we're in here, right? So on the left is the front end, and on the right is the back end. So let's go into trees here, and we can make our trees and Collins trees. And I hit save on this. And if we go into trees, it's going to say Collins trees. And what we've done is we've broken this up. So we have the headline and the subheadline. And if we go back into our panel, right, we have the headline here. All right, fun trees. I can hit save, and you can see how that change is reflected right here in the fun trees. Isn't that neat? All right, and then again for the images, I don't know if I have an image on my computer, but we can go ahead and see if I can add one. What is in here? Let's see here. Do I have an image? Of course I have an image of myself. Let's go ahead. Oh wait, I have an Unsplash image. Let's do that instead. Enough images of me. All right, upload. And then once I hit upload, it's good to go. Okay, it's fresh on this, and somewhere in here should be that picture. There's that picture I just uploaded, and you can begin to see how quickly this is working. You can also click this link to open it up, but we already have it opened up on the left side. So what I want you to do is just kind of play around and understand how this is set up. Yeah, understand drafts. Right, so this is drafted right now. Okay. Notice it's in draft, and watch what happens if I make it public. Okay, I can even change its position. Maybe I want it to be first, and hit change on that. And if we came back to our site and refreshed it, right there it is. It's first now. And watch what happens if we came into anyway. I think you're getting it. What am I overlooking? I think this is it for now. Oh, don't worry about activating it, okay? Because this isn't our real site. So just run this locally on your computer. That's all we're doing right now is running it locally on your computer. I showed you how you can add other users, right? And this user could be, client A, and give them a password and email and get them all set up. The system is where we're going to just to make sure that our stuff is, not our stuff. Make sure that there aren't any bugs or things need updated. So again, you can kind of see the stack here. There's Nginx, there's PHP. So, all right. And you can also make any changes to your account. So poke around in the back end. The big thing here is make sure that you can just add and remove content easily. So let's go into Sky real fast, just so you can see this. Where is Sky? Oh, stars in the universe. All right, back. Go to home, Sky. All right. Again. Yeah, I think that's it. Yep. Oh, that's what I was trying to do. Sky and all right. It's so cool. So what we're using right now is their fields, and where we're going with this is we're going to be able to define our own fields, because not all of our content is going to look this way. So like in class, we're talking about content mapping, and we're going to learn how to content map. All right, so as I'm making those changes, guess what's happening to the files? Okay, so we made the changes from the files directly. Now let's go ahead and try to find all that stuff I just modified. All right, so we went into photography. I made something change about Sky. What was the name of this one? Sky, just Sky, all right. Let's see here. I must have moved it around. Oh, there it is. There's Colin Sky. Good. All right. So the big thing to know here is we've left the world of modifying the files directly, right? And we're entering the world of modifying the files in this nice user interface. And as we modify the user interfaces on the front end, we're beginning to see what is happening there on the back end. And this push and pull is a good place to start with CMSs. All right, have fun with your next project, the API listing, and I will see you on Thursday.